And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're receiving this information. My name is Rafael Vasquez, and this is your show, Líderes del Futuro. Today, we're talking with Ms. Rocio Torres-Murphy, who is the Senior Victim Advocate over at the Sonoma County District Attorney's Office. And welcome again, and thank you for accepting our invitation to be with us to discuss something that is of great interest to our community.
Oh, thank you, Rafael. I appreciate you having me.
And one of the things that often we don't talk about, some of us carry these little lapels in our jackets, in our shirts all the time that talk about mental health. It's a little green ribbon that says, I always say green means go. It's okay to approach me and talk to me if you're having a difficult moment, especially when I work at Santa Rosa Junior College. My students know that they can come and talk to me when I'm walking around. But one of the things that we don't talk about is domestic violence. And so from my understanding, from the many stories I get on a regular basis, due to COVID, a lot of students haven't been able to report cases of domestic violence because they were working from home via Zoom. But what can you tell us about domestic violence in Sonoma County? And more than anything, what services are there available for our community?
Yes. Well, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so we are trying to get the word out that there is hope and there is help. If you report the crime, we're here to help you. We're here to guide you throughout the whole criminal justice system. But the first step, of course, is having the courage and the strength to report it.
Definitely. And one of the misunderstandings that always happens is that domestic violence just means the adults in the household having, that type of abuse. But often we don't take into consideration the children that are suffering in these situations. And one of the things that in the previous conversations you and I were having is that often we think that the abuser is always a male and the victim is always a female.
Right.
But you, as well as me, we have seen just the opposite. I also have seen multiple gay relationships where, there are two males and one is being abusive of the other one. And so what services are there available for the community who is suffering through these situations?
Yes. Well, I can speak for when somebody reports the crime, the report gets sent to the district attorney's office. When it comes to our office, it will get assigned to an advocate, a victim advocate, who will then reach out to the victim and let them know what is happening with the case here in the district attorney's office, and will then offer them services and referrals to other community agencies that can help them based on their needs. We do a lot of referrals to the Family Justice Center. It is a one-stop shop for restraining orders. The YWCA is there. Legal aid is there. APS is there. Verity, the YWCA. There are a lot of services available there. But we can also help victims apply to the Victim Compensation Board program, which if the application is approved, it would give them 40 sessions of therapy sessions that would be covered at no cost to them. And that's something that's really helpful. It's different for everybody. It covers medical expenses related to the crime. It can help cover with security for the home as well, if the other person is a threat to them. And more than anything, we support the victim and offer them that from the beginning to the end.
A few times I'm aware of individuals in your position, it may have been someone like yourself or someone in your office, have literally gone to the vehicle, to pick up the victim when they arrive to the courthouse because they're afraid that the abuser is going to be in the same vicinity.
Yeah.
And then you will escort them into the courthouse and you will stand or sit next to the victim when they become overwhelmed and they ask for that support. And people don't understand that sometimes they're not going to be just in the room looking at the abuser, but there's going to be somebody, an advocate there that is going to be able to support them throughout the whole process.
Yes, of course. If they are afraid to walk from their car to the courthouse, we have investigators in our office that will meet them and walk them in. And then their advocate can sit with them in court if they have to testify. The advocate can sit next to them. The advocate cannot speak to them or touch them, but is just there as a silent support.
Definitely. And so again, it's important. Again, one of the biggest ways of manipulating victims of domestic violence has been that if you tell anyone, I'm going to call immigration on you. Or the one that, again, I've seen a few times, and this is more in teen dating violence, where I have seen a male individual tell an undocumented female individual, if you tell anybody, I'm going to make sure your parents are deported. And because of that, she was victimized for about 6 months. And then I was glad that eventually she came to me, and then I was able to provide her with resources in order to find that freedom, right? And so, one of the questions that people always have is, well, if I report this, will immigration be notified and will I be deported?
No, the answer is no. Our sheriff has made it very clear that he is not interested in anyone's immigration status. The DA's office is not interested in anyone's immigration status. We are just here to protect and serve the community members of Sonoma County. That's the main goal.
Definitely. And so you mentioned many services already. Again, we have legal aid. You have some immigration services there often at
Yes.
the Sonoma County Family Justice Center. You have all of these services. Mental health is so essential in these situations in order to be able to heal properly and not pass that trauma on to our children or future relationships. But then there are some individuals who may be afraid completely to call the police directly to report the crime. Could they reach out directly to your office? And if so, is there a phone number that they could reach out to?
Of course, they can contact the Victim Services Unit of the Sonoma County District Attorney's Office. The main line is area code 707-565-8250.
Okay, and that is 707-565-8250. It's important that we keep that phone number around. Again, I always tell individuals, there's a list of essential phone numbers that we need to keep in our wallet or in our phone. Sometimes it's not for us, but it could be for a coworker, it could be for a classmate, it could be for a friend. And so keep that in mind, 707-565-8250. And again, I always appreciate when we have these conversations, because then I'm sure phone calls start coming in. And if nothing else, people are aware that there are resources out there. Is there anything else you would like to share before we finish?
I just want to thank you for having me on the show. And I just hope that for those that are out there suffering in silence, that you find that courage from within and make that phone call to report it so that you can begin moving towards just a healthier life.
Definitely. Yeah, one of the things, and this will be my last comment, but one of the things in working with youth in the gang lifestyle years ago and people in prison, one of the things that those youth often would say, I'm not sure that I would have gotten this far if my mother or my father had called the police to
Mhm.
report the domestic violence, because I got involved in the gang lifestyle, maybe because I needed a way to escape this
Yeah.
abuse. And so again, it's important, pick up the phone. If you don't do it for yourself, do it for your children, do it for healthier communities. 707-565-8250. Thank you again to
Thank you.
Rocio Torres for taking the time, and I look forward to our next dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you. Me too.